Fast forward, ini como our channel iso. AG politics awit. Podcast harus terpilih bagi headlines. Dunia, jemre. Na ini bi eksumo awha. Ini dia miyak berak simu se. Ende, ini di kanya. Best so bitima subscribe to the channel. Hit notification bell so share. Na Akuffo so answer into inkibi. Ini di ma dunia yang ko politika habis. Ija dem inya sem ko to na ning na engsem. Opinion kwantre for ende opinion His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, say Uncle Metro Mass Transport. Umujumadia Edi na Omufa and Tree and Shepa in Pem. Now, Metro Mass Transit intimate fun to my part in front. Papa, a cohono, Omukita ship for ye, beer, ye MPP, my own Edi. The Ningana say, account beer. Omubi ya nobody's can igumun. And Tempana Umuhu say, be free a ye Punyason. I can't tell him if he. Ameno say, Osan like ye say, Basses a hodua, Empony Honey say, a bit messy, no, Ama, no, a sanfan to my perfect sequence as our boy to my partner. Ningen also auction cast now, a boom digiano, Sabia son Sibignado, na and Towson. Sounds like a car among a auction yen no sono. Munya Freeman, Scanoswa, among baby Alpha. Sans a musino opinion quantum for a transia. And what did the PF say? What the Akodan EOCO say him na intasano say ebo omodia ene na mo ebigina emrano onia yon konsemnim abra opinion kwantra for no ajemre na o expose brought ahodo timi ekoso ewo Metro Mass Transit aswe
and alleged irregular auction sales of Metro Mass Transit buses have prompted investigations, with an audit report set to be referred to the Economic and Organized Crime Office for possible prosecution, and some buses were reportedly declared unserviceable and sold under very questionable circumstances to alleged cronies of the former management. Judith Brown has the rest of the story.
Latest developments as regards to the Metro Mass Transit Limited have raised concerns over accountability in the management of state-owned transport assets as calls for investigations and reforms continue to intensify. Deputy Managing Director of Metro Mass Transit Limited, Harun Ampal Redu, disclosed on TV3's Key Points that a completed audit report into the alleged sale of some buses through questionable auction processes will be forwarded to the Economic and Organized Crime Office for possible prosecution of offenders. According to him, investigations revealed that in some instances, up to 4 buses were sold to the same individuals, a situation he suspects to be a grand collusion to rip off the state.
There was a grand collusion. Look, how can you issue one public auction? You issue 4 buses, 5 buses to one person. Then on the receipts, the cost of the sale of those 4 or 5 buses is about 14,000. In some cases, 24,000. So if you look at the top quotation, you may think that the top quotation is reflecting a bus. So when you go down, you realize that the 14,000, you must divide it by 4. That will give you the price per bus sold. So the minister has instructed that a committee, so he has written to us just last Wednesday. So I believe that my MD will also put a cover letter to EOCO for EOCO to come in.
He further explained that only 42 out of 99 Daewoo buses purchased by the previous government are currently operational, after alleging that the former management procured buses that were not fit for purpose.
Currently, as we speak, the Daewoo buses that we have operational across the country, maximum about 42. I'm sure by Monday, we will write back to the external auditors, and they will furnish us with their final report. And as you are aware, we will upscale it to the ministry for some prosecutorial action to be taken. That one I can assure you.
Co-chair of the Citizens Movement Against Corruption, Adam Senanu, says Ghana's procurement processes must be followed strictly to prevent such situations.
Are we learning? And I say that because there's a sense in which our procurement process, if properly followed, you can't get the result we are talking about right now. Because the procurement process in itself would require that these elements of where are you getting the spares, the follow-up support, technical support, including spares, would have been worked into the criteria that is required for the service provider or the procurement process to have been concluded.
Sure.
It tells you that the process was not followed thoroughly.
For policy analyst and senior lecturer at the University of Ghana, Dr. Joshua Zato, accountability must rest with the management of Metromas.
It is also about time we begin to make that our accountability calls to go below the politicians to the managers and to the public servants whose duty it is to manage these things. He just said something. You brought the simple technology, improve the collection of revenue. We all know this. Everybody who is managing any service delivery knows that there are leakages. The smartest thing to do is to cover leakages. We all see it. So smart, simple, easy technology becomes the way.
Meanwhile, the Majority Chief Whip and Member of Parliament for South Dai, Roxanne Nelson Dapia-Metbo, has announced plans to trigger a bipartisan parliamentary inquiry into the alleged auctioning of more than 300 buses belonging to Metro Mass Transit Limited.
This problem has been too systemic, and we need to stamp our feet on this matter once and for all.
A parliamentary inquiry.
Inquiry into the auction of 313 Metro Mass buses. You know why? And this happened in October 2024. Before October 2024, I'd been a long-standing member of the Public Accounts Committee. And our Auditor General has every year flagged these transactions and reported on them.
As scrutiny over the alleged auctioning of Metro Mass buses deepens, attention now turns to investigative bodies and Parliament for the next steps in addressing the concerns raised. Judith Brown, TV3 News.
And traders whose shops and wares were destroyed by an inferno at the Holy Garden Market at Circle are pushing back strongly against what they describe as a deliberate scheme by some individuals to evict them from the market. The traders spoke to TV3 when NADMO officials visited the scene to distribute relief items to victims of the fire.
A Tuesday morning blaze left more than 50 makeshift shops and their contents destroyed. The Ghana National Fire Service is yet to establish the exact cause of the disaster at the busy retail hub in the heart of the capital, the Kwame Nkrumah Circle. While counting their losses, affected traders are appealing for financial support to help them rebuild their livelihoods. But beyond the fire disaster, some traders say they fear a larger agenda. They claim there is a ploy to permanently evict them from the
Also coming up, Metro Mass buses auction under scrutiny as NPs call for bipartisan probe.
We have details of these stories and a lot more. You're reminded that we're live also on all our social media platforms at TV3 Ghana. Let's get interactive and start the bulletin from here.
Right, and road traffic crashes in Ghana increased significantly in 2025, according to provisional figures from the National Road Safety Authority, NRSA. Both the number of crashes and the number of vehicles involved rose compared to the previous year. The most alarming trend was a sharp increase in fatalities, which grew faster than any other road safety indicator. Injuries from road accidents also went up, placing added strain on emergency and healthcare services. The data highlights the urgent need for stronger road safety measures and public awareness campaigns to prevent further loss of life. Right, so Crosby is by the magic wall. He has some numbers for us as well as what we need to know when it comes to the trend now. Crosby?
Grace, thank you. And let me paint this picture for you. We're talking about these disturbing numbers, and you see them on your screens right this moment. These go beyond the regular numbers. Today, we're talking something that affects all of us, our everyday life. We're talking about the roads we use, the road we take to work, the roads that our children cross to school, the roads we assume will return on. But in 2025, the road became more dangerous. And tonight, we talk about numbers. But these numbers are not abstract, okay? They are families. They are souls of your brothers and my brothers. Let's put them into perspective for you. It's very simple. Now, you see that in 2024, these are the numbers that we recorded. Some 13,489 road crashes. That's in 2024. Now, if we're looking at 2025, the number climbed to 14,743. Now, that is more than 1,200 additional crashes in just 1 year, meaning more cars crashed, okay? More lives were disrupted, okay? And more lives were lost, okay? And the big question that we're asking is that policy makers, they need to answer why. They need to answer why. Why our roads are getting busier and not safer, okay? That is the question that they need to answer. Now, this is also where that the numbers will get very interesting. It gets you to think beyond comfortability. In 2025, nearly 3,000 people, they died on our roads. Over 16,700 were injured, some for life. And more than 2,500 pedestrians, they were knocked down. 2,500 pedestrians knocked down. That means, on average, 8 people die every day on Ghanaian roads. I'll take that again. If you look at the numbers, it means that 8 people, they die every day. Between Monday and Sunday, from Monday to Sunday, 8 people die every day on the roads in Ghana. 8 people who woke up thinking it was just another normal day. 8 people who woke up and they went to work but could not get back home. They could not even go to work. 8 people were dying daily. Now, if 8 people were dying daily in any other sector, wouldn't we declare a national emergency on that subject? If 8 people were dying every single day in any other sector, don't you think we'll be acting and we're doing more than we're doing right now? So why are we quiet when it happens on our roads? Is it because it is normal? Is it because it is not as important to us as it should be? That is why we're quiet, because if it was happening in any other sector, we would shout about it. We will definitely act about it. Let's throw the numbers down for you. Now look at this. Closely look at who is involved in these crashes, okay? In 2025, private vehicles topped the list with over 10,000 cars involved in road crashes. That tells us something very uncomfortable. It is not just about commercial drivers. It is about how all of us drive. It is about how our roads are. It is about everything else, not entirely about commercial drivers. Next are the commercial drivers. We're talking about trotros, taxis, buses, the ride-hailing apps, and all of those. 8,303 of them involved in crashes. These are vehicles that carry workers, they carry students, they carry traders, they carry entire livelihoods, they carry the entire nation. And if this number of buses, commercial buses, are crashing, then it should tell you how important the situation is and why we need to act now. And then there are, of course, motorcycles too. 6,548 of them crashed in 1 year. Now, here's why this matters. Motorcycles make up the smallest share of vehicles on our roads, yet their crash numbers are alarmingly high. For policymakers, this is a clear signal that motorcycle safety is no longer optional. It is urgent and it is long overdue. We'll look at some more. As I conclude tonight, before I conclude, let me talk to you about the regional breakdown, and then we'll conclude very soon. If you look at the map on your screen right now, where you have the deep numbers, that tells you the degree at which these regions are affected. The Greater Accra region, the Ashanti region, they dominate, they top the charts. 4,533 in the Ashanti region, 4,430. These numbers, they are in close competition. A lot of the crashes are happening here. The Eastern region is somewhere in the middle there, 2,195. And then the regions that are least affected, we go up north. We see 87, 96, we're from 63, 64, 51. These are the regions that we find up north of our country. Now, these numbers, like I mentioned earlier, these are lives, these are families, these are the souls of my brother, the soul of your sister. So as I conclude, when you strip away the chart, okay, when you strip away the numbers and you take away the percentages, one truth remains that road crashes, they are not accidents. I say they are not accidents because from the numbers we're seeing here, they are outcomes. They are outcomes of decisions, okay? They are outcomes of enforcement regulations, outcomes of what we choose to prioritize. And the question is no longer, do we have the data? The question is, what are we doing with these numbers? Because every delay in action shows up in the next year's numbers. If we don't act now, in 2026, we'll be talking, in 2027, we'll be talking about 2026's numbers. So, next year funerals, is that what we want? Is that what we're looking for? I conclude with this, that Ghana deserves better. It deserves safer roads. At the same time, the time to act is now, not after the next statistic. This is a conversation that we're getting into right now because we're about to speak with Abraham Maliba. Abraham Maliba is the Director General of the National Road Safety Authority. He oversees all of these numbers firsthand. Abraham, thank you for joining us. These are very worrying numbers. We've had road safety campaigns for years. We've had slogans, billboards, road safety weeks. Yet the numbers keep going up. My question is, what is not working?
Good evening to you and to your viewers. What is not working is the lack of campaigns during the period that you are talking about. And whenever the Road Safety Authority is resourced to do campaigns all over the country, the numbers reduce. So you are seeing these numbers at a time when the authority has not been resourced enough to do the campaigns.
So the problem for us, the problem, Maliba, you're telling us is that there's a problem of funding. Is that why we're seeing these numbers?
Exactly. Luckily for us, the road fund, now called Road Maintenance Fund, has assured us that they are going to release funding for us to begin massive road safety campaigns. But when you take the campaigns out, what also contributes to these numbers is driver indiscipline. Most drivers don't observe the road regulations, and so they overspeed. And on our roads, we have speed limits. On the highway, you are supposed to go to 90 kilometers per hour. On the motorway, 100 kilometers per hour. In built-up communities, 50 kilometers per hour. And then when you are around schools, markets, 30 kilometers per hour. But our drivers don't observe these things. Another one is pedestrian carelessness, jaywalking, people crossing at wrong places. Then, in recent time, we have observed that the Voxy Toyota vehicles, which have also contributed so much, is as a result of poor converting of their steering from the right-hand drive to the left-hand drive. So, these are some of the things, and what are we doing? I have put up a committee to look at the Voxy vehicle issue, where they have to convert from the right-hand drive to the left-hand drive.
Mr. Maliba, if you can hold on for me. So this conversation about Voxy vehicles, like we saw in the numbers, that it's not only the private vehicles who are contributing, commercial drivers are also there. But if it comes out, like you're telling us, that it's because you do not have funds, that's why we're seeing these numbers, it becomes a little hard to believe. Tonight, can you give us one clear, measurable action that the National Road Safety Authority will take in the next couple of months, not a campaign, not a workshop, that will directly reduce road deaths and that we can publicly track when we enter into 2027?
When you take away campaigns from the work of road safety has become vulnerable. Our major tool is campaign. When we say campaign, we're not talking about political campaign. We go to schools, we go to lorry stations. That is the work that we have to do. So don't say we take it away. We can't take it away. It's our main tool. And I've told you that the more we engage in vigorous campaign, the numbers come down. So why are you saying that we shouldn't do campaigns or we should take it away? So I'm telling you that the road fund has promised by next week they will release funding. Our authority is already ready with campaign messages. Campaign teams will be deployed to the various terminals, and we shall ensure that during this period we provide road safety education. It is the way to go, and it's the only way that we can reduce. The next one has to do with enforcement, and that falls within the remit of MTTD. Enforcement is not for road safety. We are not an enforcement agency, we are a regulator. And so we shall collaborate with them, and as we do, to ensure that enforcement is done. So whilst we give road safety education, there should be enforcement hand in hand. And these are the two main things that will reduce the numbers. And I can assure you that when the funds are released, we will do that.
And finally, so enforcement and all of that, it is all based on the funds. When you get the funds, you'll be able to do the campaign and then make sure that enforcement goes the right way so that we'll see these numbers coming down. That's what you're telling us, that all you need is money.
All we need is the money which we have seen, the money already lodged in the road fund. The administrator only has to give us what is due us, and we'll hit the ground running. It's not like the money is not there. It is now, it has been released from the Ministry of Finance, and it is now with the road fund. The road fund administrator has assured me that next week the money will be released, and we will hit the ground running. That is where we'll even invite you to be part of it. You, the media.
We'll be glad. Thank you. Amaliba, thank you so much. Lawyer Abraham Amaliba is the Acting Director General of the National Road Safety Authority.
We in Samaro Nuya, a course or channel so I'm not so dimly or hard, the best Asian. That's it.